Showtime!
Hello everybody, my name is 3D and welcome to the 3D Show and welcome to a brand new series which is basically called All You Need to Know, and it's going to be a series that I'm going to be expanding upon in the future, and it's going to be about up and coming games and new releases, as well as potentially games that are in the news, in the discussion. But that's basically what the series is about. And today we are focusing on the long and highly anticipated Dragonball Z Kakarot. This was announced at E3 last year, and it was a pleasant surprise to most people because I didn't hear about this game at all until it was released on E3 in that demo. Now, Kakarot is an up-and-coming action-based role-playing video game based on the sagas in Dragon Ball Z, and there's going to be some new additional bonuses as well as original characters and further backstory on the events in the anime/manga. When I first saw Kakarot at E3 2019, I had no idea this was even being made. At the time, I was absorbed in Dragon Ball Z Fighters and many other games as well. So, what can you expect from the long-awaited proper RPG DBZ experience us fans have been hoping for, as wanting to be on next generation consoles since the release of the Legacy of Goku series and Bu's Fury on the Game Boy Advance way back in the day? Let's get straight into the meat and potatoes of this game, shall we?
What to expect in the game.
If you are brand new to Dragon Ball Z, or if you've only watched Dragon Ball Super, or you might just love playing RPGs, well, whatever your preference, this is what you can expect from Dragon Ball Z Kakarot. At its core, Dragon Ball Z Kakarot is an RPG first, meaning everything based around being an RPG, which has deep mechanics. Here's what we know so far and what has been released by Bandai Namco. Eating meals does not just give HP back. This is one of the main ways to gain a permanent stat boost and stat boosters to improve your characters throughout the game. Another key factor is hunting and farming is actually quite relevant and essential to the progression of your character, and it is absolutely essential that you get materials for cooking as well as making your armor if you want to improve your characters to be the strongest they can be. Unlike previous Dragon Ball Z games such as Xenoverse, they have massive free roam areas. Pretty much think of it as massive hubs like The Witcher 3 has. You know, its own hubs to explore, you've got different areas you can go to. Every area is massive, but they don't sort of interlink to each other in like open worlds. You do have to sort of transition to one open area to another. However, packed in these free roam areas there are side quests galore, additional extra stories and content that further enrich the lore and the background of the sagas in question. There is more emphasis on older Dragon Ball characters, Dragon Ball characters from Dragon Ball in fact, and they have also added additional events and additional storylines to go along with re-meeting old friends. Now, Kakarot is a complete journey from start to finish, with stories taking place after the main campaigns are finished. DLC stories have been announced and will be released with the season pass. The other thing that you need in this game is a feature that they have introduced, which is unlike you get your experience, but the experience is in the form of Z points. Now, Z points are farmed to level up skills and unlock abilities. However, just like the show, certain moves are not available until you do the training with the trainer responsible, or have unlocked a specific key moment in the series where you can unlock that specific move, e.g. Super Saiyan for Goku on planet Namek. Another example is going to King Kai and learning the Kaioken as well. So that's pretty much the sort of short run up of what to expect in the game. And now we have, moving on, we're going to explore the characters.
How many characters can we play?
In Dragon Ball Z Kakarot, we have lots of characters and familiar faces returning to help Goku along his way. Here are the confirmed characters we can play as of right now. Goku, obviously, is the main character, and then you've got Kid Gohan, Teen Gohan, and Adult Gohan throughout the entire game. You've got Vegeta as well, pretty much going to be in most of the game. You've got Piccolo, who's my personal fan favourite. I absolutely love Piccolo. And then you've got Trunks, which I didn't know. Teen and Adult Trunks, or Teen Trunks, is going to be playable in the Android and Cell Saga. And then you've got Gotenks, one of the 2 fusion characters you can play as of right now. There might be more hidden things in the game, but Gotenks is the fusion of Kid Trunks and Kid Goten. That happens during the Boo Saga. And then you've got Vegito, which is, he's one of the best fusions in the Dragon Ball Z universe, and happen to control him during the Boo Saga. Now that's not all. We have other characters that will be along for the ride and along for the journey, even though you can't play as them. Now the confirmed helping characters is a helping mechanic, Krillin. You can call him in for a destruction disc and other helpful attacks. You've got Tien, who does his Solar Flare and Tri-Beam. You've got Yamcha, who does his Wolf Fang Fist and his Spirit Ball. There are various elements to these attacks that do have effects on the bad guys you're fighting. So that is something that we can look forward to and experiment with. So that covers the characters and what to expect. So moving a bit further into the game itself.
How much can you do in the game?
Now this is still open to debate until the game comes out. However, the developer has said the world is massive and the player will have tons to do. A few YouTubers have played early builds and previews. I will not mention names because there's far too many. You can look it up on YouTube, and they're all saying the game is massive, and they're all saying that there's so much to do, sort of like Red Dead Redemption, GTA sort of levels of interaction, but in the Dragon Ball world. So what we know as the confirmed mini games, as what we know at the moment, is baseball as Teen Gohan, and you can actually learn to drive as a driving license mini game to take off that after that one episode where Piccolo and Goku try to learn to drive. So that is sort of like a sort of funny mini game. There's going to be others, no doubt, but we'll probably find out when we actually get our hands on the game. So how big is the game? How many hours do you expect to put into it? Well, this is just a speculation on my part, but there's probably going to be hundreds of hours, at least minimum 40 hours of gameplay minimum. I mean, there's side quests. You can find the Dragon Balls and summon Shenron. And when you summon Shenron, at the moment, all we know you can summon fallen bad guys to summon them back up for additional dialogue, and you fight them and you get their medals. The medals are something I'll go into in another video, but that's basically how you sort of level up and break certain barriers at end game with the Dragon Balls. I can imagine it's not going to be till late in the game you can get those. Another integral part of the sort of hourly completion is going to be the farming and the free roam exploration. That's going to be a lot of people are going to be doing that. But there is one thing to note with the free roam, is that the areas in question, there are a lot of areas in the zones that are beyond your level to start off with. So you might find yourself in trouble going over to a level 30 zone when you're only level 17, 18. I would highly recommend that you don't do that. Even the developers have said you will get your ass handed to you. I'm not sure if you can grind your way past difficulty spikes, but apparently the bosses will always be a challenge no matter, regardless of your level. So, moving on. Now we know it's been confirmed that the PS4 Pro and the Xbox One will have 4K support. So no doubt 4K capable PCs will have that support as well. But if you're sort of in the middle ground and you're not quite sure if your computer will run it, then I've got the requirements on screen, and there's a little website you can go to if you want to see if you're not just Kakarot, if your computer will run any game, and the link is in the description below, which is gamedebate.com. there's a little tip from me. It's just going off topic slightly. When you have a little, you have the recommended and the minimum. Never ever look at the minimum. Always look at the recommended, because the minimum will just basically mean you can load up the game, and it probably won't be playable. And if it is playable, it will look like someone's just smeared toothpaste all over your screen, and you won't know what's going on. So I would recommend that you look at the recommended settings and completely ignore the minimum requirements. So with that out of the way, moving forward.
What sagas does this game cover?
As briefly stated earlier, Dragon Ball Z Kakarot covers the entire Dragon Ball Z series in terms of the manga and the anime. So this is the order that it should cover it in. There might be some surprises in there. They have said they're going to be adding new dialogue, new background, and new sort of enrichment of the lore with each saga. So we might not have the direct sort of absolute same old follow. It will follow the structure of the series, but it might be a bit different. So this is how I think the game will go. Saiyan Saga, Namek Saga, Android Saga, Cell Saga, Great Saiyaman Saga, Fat Buu Saga, and Super Buu Saga. So, that all out of the way, what happens when the game ends? Well, post-game content has been mentioned, but again, no one really knows what they're going to be doing. There are 2 confirmed story expansions to be included with the Season Pass, plus an additional tower called the Tayo Pai Pai Pillar, and that's to be released a bit later on. I think April they said, I think, from what I've read. And I think the Pai Pai Pillar might be something to do with the original Dragon Ball. This is speculation, or it might be a place you can go and fight like specific special events like from the movies and maybe even Super. Or it might be just a farming area where you can go and do the challenges over and over again for the bosses and what have you. We don't know. No one knows what that's going to be about. So we look forward to that being discussed on the channel when it comes out. It wouldn't surprise me if we get an expansion announced at the end of the year or maybe early next year, because this game is going to fly off the shelves. It's so hyped and so many people are wanting for it. I personally have wanted a Dragon Ball Z RPG on the next generation consoles since I played Buu's Fury on the Game Boy Advance so long ago now. So with all that being said and done, I hope you are looking forward to Dragon Ball Z Kakarot as much as I am, and on January the 17th the world will finally be able to take a walk in Goku's shoes and relive his life moment to moment in the Dragon Ball Z world. Now, just to talk briefly about pricing, the game will retail between $49.99 to $79.99 English pounds. Based on your variation of the currency will be different, so you'll have to look up your equivalent depending on what version you get, with £50 being the standard version or £80 being the Ultimate Edition. That's on the consoles. Also, you can get the Diorama Edition, where you get the figure with Goku and Gohan on Nimbus, and you got the dinosaur on it. That retails at about $130 to $180 depending on where you go. Don't quote me on that, I'm not entirely sure. I've seen it for about $180-ish on most websites, but I have seen it for $130, although that might have been a mistake. On PC, this is what I love about the PC. The games are always a bit cheaper. Now, if you get the PC version, I would recommend getting it on a reputable key website. I personally use CDKEYS.com. This is not a sponsored video, but their link is in the description. They always have the best prices for PC games on Steam, on Origin, on good old games, and all the other and Epic Game Store. They have. I haven't been able to find anywhere cheaper. They've got Kakarot on there for the standard edition pre-order for $34.99 right now, which is an absolute bargain. Or you get the Ultimate Edition, which concludes the season pass and the new character and the additional training mode for £60, as opposed to 20 quid more on the consoles. So that's it for the pricing, and I really am looking forward to Dragon Ball Z Kakarot. I really hope you are too. Gameplay will be featured on the channel, and I will be streaming it when I get my hands on the game. I'm not sure if I'll be able to get it on release, but I will be able to get it as soon as I can. I really hope you enjoy Dragonball Z Kakarot, and I shall see you powering up in the next video. Stay awesome, and bye bye for now.